Okay, so we will understand about the SNMP version 2, the MIB, how the MIB enhancement. MIB again, it is the database that is getting enhanced. Okay, so how the MIB got enhanced in version 2. Then we will see the architecture and the compatibility. Compatibility in the sense is when version 2 was found out, already devices had version 1 in them. Okay, now we had seen that what were the major changes in version 1 and 2 we had seen. Okay, so the architecture also of version 2 is different, messages also are different. But then if I have a network where I have both SNMP version 1 and version 2, then how do I solve that problem? So we will also deal how to or discuss how to deal with the compatibility between version 1 and version 2. Okay, so you will, the outcome will be, learning outcome will be you will be able to understand the basic characteristic of version 2 and learn about the new and improved features. Some of them we have already discussed, and also the compatibility issue. Okay, so starting with the MIB enhancement, if you remember, this is the SNMP version 2 MIB. Now, since I don't know whether you people are drawing, so I copied the version 1 MIB. So this I had already shown. So from internet, we have directory management experimental private, and then we were studying internet management. So this was the MIB2 extension. Then we studied about the system group. So this was your SNMP version 1. Now, if you see the MIB in version 2, so here, apart from this 4, we have 2 more added features of security, and then SNMP version 2. Okay, so we have the internet node in in the MIB has 2 subgroups. Okay, so the database also was changed. The MIB also was changed, and also we had the systems group in management. Okay, so that system group also had significant change compared to version 1. Okay, so here we have a separate SNMP version 2 node. यहाँ पे एक अलग सा node create किया है, and so that's why we call this version 2 as a hybrid compared to your version 1. So if you are comparing version 1 and version 2, see, these are very detailed things which the students explain. Okay, and very few, I have hardly seen papers where, because ये comparison वाला question बहुत बार आया है ना, I have hardly seen students explaining so exactly कि कैसा MIB, सिर्फ लिख देते हैं MIB enhancement, और कभी कभी तो लिखते ही नहीं है, because I said no that good better best ऐसा ही लिखते हैं. So these are some things, because see, when you are explaining this, you draw this diagram. Okay, MIB enhancement हुआ है in SNMP version 2. So even if it is a theory paper, you get full marks. Okay, so that is how you can attract the attention of the paper corrector or the examiner. So this was about the MIB enhancement that happened in version 2. Okay, now let us understand the SNMP version 2 architecture. So I don't know whether you are drawing or not. So here I have 2 managers and then 1 agent. Earlier we had this part only, the manager and the agent. Okay, so here we have the manager application, SNMP manager application, SNMP agent application, and they are connected. This is the physical layer through which they are connected, and they are exchanging the SNMP layer is exchanging the SNMP PDU. Okay, and here the application layer PDUs are exchanged. So here, if you see the architecture, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 messages, 7 messages over here, 7 messages over here, and 6 messages over here. If somebody has drawn the version 1 architecture, I had told you to draw and I was waiting also. Can you tell me which are the messages which are new compared to version 1? Get request was there. Get next request also was there. Okay. Set request, response, and then trap. Okay. So this message was there. Anything else was there? Any other messages were there in version 1? Yes. कोई मैसेज था जो यहाँ पे ड्रॉप हो गया है? Yes or no? Nobody remembers. Why? Did anybody draw? Say yes or no, then I will not ask. किसी ने ड्रॉ किया है? कोई बोल नहीं रहा है, मतलब किसी ने नहीं किया है. Okay. What are the 5 commands or messages? Yes. Ryan, can you tell me? In SNMP version 1, what are the 5 messages?
Get request, get next request, set request, get response, and trap.
Okay. And if I compare with OSI, so get request, get next request, set request, get response, and trap. Okay, so these are the 5 messages which were there. So यहाँ पे that trap is just see SNMP version 2 trap. We don't simply write a trap over here. We write SNMP version 2 trap because in the MIB we have seen that under security एक अलग database तैयार हुआ था, MIB enhancement था. So we will call it as SNMP version 2 trap. Okay, so get request, get next request, set request, response version 2 trap as it is. Now we have one more command that is called as inform request. Okay, so see here, since I have 2 managers, these 2 managers need to communicate with each other. At that time, I don't require agent to participate. So when a manager is communicating with another manager, he will use this inform request. So that's why here this inform request, it goes to the second manager. And that's why it is bi-directional, because ये यहाँ कुछ data मांगा होगा या some information, and this manager will have responded with that data. Okay, so these 2 managers are communicating with the help of inform request. So that's why arrows on both the sides. So get request, suppose यहाँ पे देखो get request इधर है, arrow इधर है, यहाँ पे get request का arrow इधर है. What does that mean? Please, since you are not drawing, you need to concentrate on the diagram. Otherwise, 100% chance is there that you go wrong in the arrow. Both the managers are there. Students have the tendency, इसमें जो जैसे जैसे arrows है, यहाँ पे भी वैसे वैसे arrow है. Inform request, I explained that when one manager is communicating with another manager, तो एक manager ने कुछ तो request भेजा होगा या कुछ तो data मांगा होगा, the second manager is replying. Okay, so that's why this is bi-directional. So he might ask data from this person might ask data from this other person. That's why it is bi-directional. The next message in the manager is get request. यहाँ पे भी get request, but यहाँ पे arrow इधर है और ये arrow बाहर है. Why like that? Yaha in trap also I have the get request which is going towards the agent. So considering this manager and this manager, if I say that this is my, I select something. This is my first manager, manager 1, and this is my manager 2. Okay, which is the main manager? Can anybody tell? We had seen that version 1 में एक manager है और एक agent है, and they are communicating. Now to involve manager to manager communication, we have one more manager in the architecture to show that the managers can communicate or exchange management related data with respect to each other. Now seeing this arrow direction, which is my main manager? जो manager agent है, which is my main manager? Can anybody tell? Seeing this arrow direction, ये वाला, ये वाला. Yes, can you tell? Please think.
M2.
How?
Ma'am, because M2 is generating a request and the other manager is getting the request. And the
Saurav
agent is
also,
also.
yes, Saurav also wrote in the chat, yes. M2 is the main manager because the manager generates a request. Okay, so he is generating a request, so that's why the arrow goes down. The request might go to the agent, or it might be for the next manager. So this M2 is the main manager where I'm considering manager to agent communication. So get request, then I have get next request. ये feature भी है, but we have seen that many times we might require multiple data. Okay, so instead of sending get request, get next request, if I have multiple data to get the response, so what I can do is I can send get bulk request. Okay, so this manager will send some bulk request and the agent receives the bulk request. Similarly, that goes over here. So my M2 is the main manager. So remember, the center manager, you consider it as the main manager, and all the arrows leaving the main manager except the inform request, response, and trap. So then I have the get bulk request, which is also generated by the manager, then set request, then response. Okay, so response, the agent sends the response, so it goes over here. This response here is bidirectional because if this person also has asked for some data, I might also give it. So again, it is bidirectional. And then SNMP version 2 trap, it is generated by the agent. So response and trap, it is generated by the agent. So the arrow points from the agent to the manager. So the response goes over here, SNMP version 2 trap. So you have to neatly draw this diagram if the architecture or explain version SNMP version 2. This is important. Then remember, these are not the OSI layers. These are all embedded in the SNMP only. So we are using the UDP protocol for communication, IP, the data link control, and then the physical. So these are all embedded in the SNMP, and then we are exchanging these SNMP PD. So let us understand. So once this architecture is there, let us discuss in detail about the commands. So the version 2 system architecture, it looks essentially the same as that of version 1. However, there are two significant enhancements in version 2. So first is there are 7 messages instead of 5. Many times objective questions, they ask this one. Version 1 has 5, version 2 has 7. And then we will see what does version 3 have. Second, the two manager applications can communicate with each other at the peer level. Another message, report message is missing. I had asked this, if I compare with OSI architecture, remember OSI mein bhi we had studied similar architecture, usme, but we used to use M event report, M set, M get, M delete, M create. Okay, so M create, M delete is something similar to M set and response. Only create option is not there because we cannot create anything in the internet. Okay, so that feature was not there. So here the message report is missing. It was missing also in version 1. It is missing also in version 2. Now this I am talking when I am comparing it with the OSI architecture. Now why that report message is missing is because even though it has been defined as a message, SNMP version 2 working group, it did not specify its detail. Now, but you know that we require a report, okay, message. It was an essential thing. It was there in OSI management. SNMP version 1 maybe wo nahi tha, but in version 2 when we thought of enhancement, okay, extension, version 2 working group ने भी वो message को detail में specify नहीं किया है. But actually that message should be there. Okay, so what provision was given is it was left for the implementers to generate the specification. It is not currently being used since it was not there. वो किसी ने use भी नहीं किया, hence it is omitted from the figure. Okay, so this, if event report is there or not, some question comes. So it was actually not there. It was not. That's why that message is missing. So what are the added message? So the additional message was the inform request. So why that message was there? For manager to manager communication, the receiving manager responds with the response message. And why we want this? To enhance the interoperability between two network management systems. Then we have the get bulk message. Yes, a very important and useful feature where we can transfer large data. Example, retrieval of table. In a table, we will have multiple columns and multiple rows. Okay, suppose the value of the router, okay, the routing table, if we want to know that data, okay, after 1 minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes, okay, so in a tabular from various nodes or gateway, if I'm collecting the data, okay, so it's a large amount of data. तो एक करके हम मांगने से अच्छा है bulk में we ask for that data. So a very useful message which was the requirement is the get bulk message. And then the trap message, we call it as, please remember, we call it not, don't simply as trap, we will call it as version 2 trap. So it is similar to the SNMP version trap. Okay, so trap is generated by the agent, again, you know. Now considering the packet, okay, so the SNMP message format. So here you have the message header and the protocol data unit. Now what is there in the header is we have, so see, it's the same type, the PDU structure remains the same. We in the header में क्या रहेगा, version number रहेगा and the community name. So you can say that it is the same thing. जैसे 3 blocks है. Okay, so here you have the version, then you have the community name, community profile or community name, and here you have the PDUs. Okay, so exactly the same thing like your version 1. So no major change was there. And why we are going for the community name is shared password, means people belonging to the same community can communicate with each other. So security, again I'm repeating, it was present in version 1, it is present in version 2 by the community name. Not very much higher level of encryption, decryption was there, but this through this community profile access policy, the security was again continued in version 2 also. So SNMP, the common version PDU format is the PDU type. This question is asked in the theoretical exam. So you have the PDU type. Remember, we have now 7 messages. So whether it is a get bulk request, inform request, version 2 trap, response. Okay, so I need to specify. So PDU types, there will be 7 PDUs. Okay, because 7 messages are there. So 0 to 6 if you want to do a numbering. So the PDU type, it is an integer value that indicates the PDU. Okay, so 0 मतलब क्या है, inform request है, get request मतलब 1 है, 2 है. So all those numberings are there. Then the request ID, see, this is exactly the same which we did in version 1 also. कोई change नहीं है, only PDU type numbering will be different because वहाँ पे 5 message थे, यहाँ पे 7 message. Then we have the request ID, the error status, the error index, then the object name. So where bind is variable binding, if you have forgotten. So we have the name of the object, so variable binding 1, and then the value immediately. So where bind 1 name and where bind 1 value. Now depending upon whatever, how many objects we are dealing, so we have till your variable binding n name and value. So PDU type is an integer. So here you can see there are these are the PDUs. So get request ke liye I will use 0, get next request 1, response PDU is 2, then set request is 3. So in this way we have 4 is absolute, I don't use it. Okay, so this is already given. 5 is get bulk request, 6 is inform request, 7th is the trap PDU, and 8th one is report PDU. देखो यहाँ पे report PDU है. Okay, you might feel कि report message तो नहीं है, but it was left with the implementers. Okay, so SNMP ने directly नहीं डाला है, But suppose when you are implementing, you feel no, there should be a report message. Okay, so then you can include that message. So that's why they have provided this PDU number as 8. Okay, so if you feel, you can use it. So there is a scope of enhancing, but directly उन्होंने specify नहीं किया, उनके model में specify नहीं किया. Okay, so that was about the PDU type. Then the request ID, that is the request identifier. This is exactly what was there previously. So I will just read it out. So request identifier is a number used to match request with replies. It is generated by the device that sends a request and copied into this field in a response PDU by responding the SNMP entity. Then the error status, it is an integer value that is used in a response PDU to tell the requesting SNMP entity the result of its request. A value of 0 indicates that no error has occurred. So if I have यहाँ पे 0 means no error has occurred. And suppose there are some other values apart from 0, so those values will indicate कौन से टाइप का एरर हुआ है. 0 है तो no error. If suppose 1 या 2 या 3, so 1 stands for what kind of error, 2 stands for what kind of error. So there will be a table which will specify the types of error with respect to the value. Then error index, after the error status, we have the error index. When error status is non-zero, this field contains a pointer that specifies which object generated the error. देखो error status अगर 0 नहीं है, मतलब कोई number तुमने डाला है, तो you know कि this is the type of error that has occurred. And where is the error? कौन से? Because see, we have so many objects till n. Suppose there are 5 objects. Okay, 5 object means 5 components in the network. So कौन से component में error हुआ है? Okay, so the error index will indicate that. Okay, so this field contains a pointer that specifies which object generated the error. The error index is set to 0 if there are no error. If there is an error, it identifies the first variable binding in the variable binding list that caused the error message. I hope it's a simple way to understand. 0 है मतलब कोई error नहीं है. Apart from 0, any number is there means it indicates the type of error. Okay, if it is a non-zero, it will indicate which object is in error. Okay, so then I know कि हाँ बाबा ये object is in error. Variable binding and the value. So it is a set of name value pairs identifying the MIB objects in the PDU. So depending on the type of or how many objects are there, this variable binding is there. So this is about the PDU. Now, a very important topic is, I'll just discuss a little bit about it and then I will continue next class. So SNMP interoperability, that is compatibility between version 1 and version 2, an important topic, okay, from the viewpoint of theory as well as an objective question. हमारे पास SNMP version था, then we moved to SNMP version 2. Okay, so immediately when the versions are changed, we don't have the provision or the capacity to replace the entire component. So some are with version 1, some are with version 2. Now see, if I'm sending a get request message, the PDU of SNMP version 1 will be a bit different. PDU generated of version 2 will be different. Okay, so when I am exchanging the messages, so that PDU needs to be converted. Otherwise, वो version वाले नहीं समझेंगे. Okay, this is something which you also know. Okay, so there has to be some conversion taking place when I am dealing with version 1 and version 2. Remember, this will not come compatibility issue with version 3. Why? Because I have also mentioned earlier, version 3 का architecture completely different है. यहाँ हमने क्या किया था, एक सिर्फ मैनेजर का ब्लॉक लगाया था and 2 messages were extra. Okay, so with 3 there is no problem of compatibility issue. Compatibility issue will come only when we are dealing with version 1 and version 2. So how to solve the compatibility issue? Okay, so an SNMP proxy server will convert a set of non-SNMP entities into a set of SNMP defined entities. Okay, so one solution is a proxy server which will do the conversion. Now see, SNMP version 2 MIB is not backward compatible with SNMP. Why? Because हमने already expand कर दिया है. Okay, so that database, I cannot shrink that database. Okay, SNMP version 1 का तो कम था. Okay, in version 2 there was an expansion. Okay, so what I need to do is I need to require to convert the message. So the SNMP version 2 IETF working group has proposed two schemes for migration from version 1 to version 2. So you should remember these two names, and then tomorrow we will, next class, we will study about this. Small diagram is there. So one method is the bilingual manager. Bi means two, lingual means language. Okay, so bilingual manager and then the SNMP proxy server. If you remembered, I had discussed this proxy server organization model when we started with SNMP, and I said I will discuss it again more in the later chapter. We had SNMP enabled object and non-SNMP enabled object. So non-SNMP enabled objects were communicating using this proxy server. So here also, to deal with the compatibility issue, we have two things. That is the bilingual manager and the SNMP proxy server. So SNMP version 2 is incompatible with version 1 in two areas. That is the message format and the protocol. The format of the message will be different. The PDUs will be different, and the protocol operation, because यहाँ पे 5 था, यहाँ पे 7 है. SNMP version 2 messages uses different header and PDU format than version 1 messages. Okay, so and also we have two protocol operations that are not specified in version 1. So when I'm dealing with the conversion, what I need to deal with? I need to deal with the PDU because दोनों के header formats अलग है, and also two protocol operations are different. So how this bilingual manager and proxy server will do this conversion, that we will be seeing in the next class. Okay, so SNMP interoperability or compatibility of version 1 and version 2, we will see this two scheme in the next class. It is simple, nothing big. Okay, how that message is getting converted. Okay, so that we will see, and we will discuss that in the next class. So just take the attendance. Yes, roll number 1, 2, Hammer, 3,
Present, ma'am.
4,
Present, ma'am.
5, Abhishek, 6, Mohit, 7,
Present, ma'am.
8, today Rishikesh is there, Jolly is there, Royston,
Present, ma'am.
Nikhilesh is there, Saurabh is there, Christopher,
I'm present.
Italia is there, Ryan is there, Vincent is there, Pratiksha, Ethan, Mark. When is your Innovex?
23rd.
23rd. Shrikant,
Ma'am,
Yes,
March
ma'am.
20.
Got postponed by 1 week.
Ma'am, it's on 30 or 1.
okay. Shrikant is there.
Yes,
Ma'am,
ma'am.
20.
Ritesh,
Present, ma'am.
Lisa. Good. $25.
Present, ma'am.
27, 28, 29, 30, 30 is there, 31,
Present, ma'am.
32,
Present, ma'am.
34,
Present, ma'am.
35,
Present,
Ma'am,
ma'am.
33 present.
7, Shreyas,
Present, ma'am.
39,
Ma'am, 38 present.
39, 40,
Present, ma'am.
41 is there, 42,
Present, ma'am.
43,
Present, ma'am.
44, 45,
Present, ma'am.
46, 9, 50,
50 percent.
1 is there, 52 is there, 53 and
Present, ma'am.
54, Samuel, 55, Rahul, 56,
Present, ma'am.
57,
Present, ma'am.
58 present, ma'am.
59,
59 present, ma'am.
61, 62, 63,
Present, ma'am.
64,
Present, ma'am.
65,
Present, ma'am.
66,
Present,
67,
ma'am.
Present, ma'am.
68, Hemant is there, 69,
Present, ma'am.
70. What happened to Dhruv? He's not well or what? Shikha,
Yes, ma'am, present.
Present, ma'am. Sumit. Present, ma'am.
73.
Present, ma'am.
73 is there. 74, Nilay. 75, Patrick.
Present, ma'am.
76,
Present, ma'am.
77 present, ma'am.
78,
Present, ma'am.
79,
Present, ma'am.
80, 81,
Present, ma'am.
82, 83, Adriel, 84,
Present, ma'am.
Elton is there, raised hand. 86,
Present, ma'am.
87,
Present, ma'am.
88, 89, 'We'll meet on Tuesday. So the second group will present that. So either you want to present before